It's good!
Fuck yeah, everybody. Hi, everyone. Wow, how exciting. Holy moly, this is like a real thing going on. I came in extra early today to test it out. I came in early last week, and you know what? I think I'm coming in early from now on.
It's giving me a heart attack when I see you coming around.
Hi, everybody. Look at this cool crowd we have. It's a bunch of pretty people, and these guys over here. See that, everybody? The jokes are already happening. Wow. Fuck yeah. Comedians up top. Good to see you guys. This is fun. This is episode 59 of Kill Tony.
59.
Yes. 59 episodes. Wow. Very, very fun. It's been a crazy week in comedy since I last saw you.
Yeah.
We've been going up a lot. We had a fun 4th of July weekend.
Yeah.
Independence Day. And Opie and Anthony, right?
Yeah, that's what I've been dealing with. I've just been glued to that the whole weekend. I'm a big fan of Opie and Anthony. I don't know if you guys heard all the shit that went down over the weekend. It's very interesting.
Who doesn't know by round of applause? All right, so this amazing radio duo has a straight guy, Opie, and the funny man, Anthony. And
Jim Norton's on the show also, a hilarious
classic
comedian.
Competitor to Howard Stern and other, comedy radios. Anyway, bobbity bob. Anthony's taking a picture in Central Park, right?
Yeah, he was in the middle on the streets, downtown New York. And he was taking pictures at like 3 in the morning. And a woman just dressed up in a miniskirt, probably street meat, but who knows. He took a photo of her and she got pissed. And so she just charged him and started attacking him, punching him in the face.
And then he tweeted that...
He just tweeted a bunch of stuff. Some of it's considered racist to a lot of people, including Sirius, who fired him.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's the crazy twist. Is
yeah.
The show's canceled.
Well, it's not canceled. They fired him. So now...
They own the show, so they can do anything they want with it.
They can do whatever. I don't know.
Wow, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, everybody. I think what I found interesting, I want to talk to our guests about this now that I think about it. So we'll bring this back up in a second.
Okay.
You know what I'm excited about? Comic-Con coming up at the end of July, everybody. Kill Tony live from San Diego's Comic-Con, everyone. So for those of you listening in San Diego, if you're a comic of any kind and you're interested in trying out a minute on Kill Tony at Comic-Con,
yeah,
you'll be able to sign up that night right before the show.
Right. And what's cool is that there's a lot of clubs down in San Diego. You got the Comedy Store in La Jolla. You got the American Comedy Club. You got the one that's down the street, Madhouse. And there's a huge community down there that doesn't really always mix with the L.A. people. So they might not know this show very well. So if there's people in L.A. that are going to be down there for Comic-Con, this is going to be an interesting change.
It's going to be a fun mix because we had a blast when we were at the La Jolla Comedy Store for Kill Tony, which was crazy. But combining Comic-Con San Diego and this, I must say, it's an amazing show. So when we combine all those things, it's going to be a lot of fun.
And we're also going to have Thunder Pussy and a comedy show. But there's a new tour schedule for all the Death Squad shows at deathsquad.tv now. So it has all the information there.
So all that information's out. You know what we get to do now? Bring out our head of security for tonight's show, everybody. Listen to that light golf clap. We were able to, okay, I guess Josh is just bringing, come on, Josh Martin, everybody, the producer of the show, has the comedic timing of fucking suicide bomber. Really just, what were you going to do, run him out the whole way?
I didn't even know he was following me. I was just going to pick the mic.
Really, what did you think he was? Did you just think you were leaving him up in the green room in that suit?
Yeah.
So you were just going to strand him there while you came and fixed the mic. You were just going to leave this little... I almost gave it away. Our Patriot and head of security this week is the first ever Guatemalan Patriot, everybody. It's Kenney Lion, everyone. Suited up. All right, it's the Dizzy Patriot, everybody. Obviously, came in spinning around in circles. Ponytail tucked in. This is your first time ever being the Patriot. Is that right, Kenney?
That is correct.
Fuck yeah. Anything you want to say to the people?
It's an honor to be here, protecting everyone. Just want to say something.
Go right ahead.
If anyone decides to get out of hand, I brought my lasers.
Not only is he the Guatemalan Patriot, he's also the extremely stoned Patriot. So I'm really glad that he's going to be daydreaming next to the stage, keeping us all safe.
I love it.
Kenney's one of the cooler, positive, very stoned, hippie, young comics on the scene. He actually, when he's not protecting us as the Guatemalan Patriot, he actually runs one of the goofiest open mics I've ever done in my entire life. I did it a few weeks ago just because he invited me, and I like Kenney. He says, I'm doing an open mic at a pizza shack at Santa Monica and Highland. I go looking for this place, and it's literally a little tiny shack that only serves outdoor pizza, and he's in the parking lot of a plaza with 2 karaoke machines hooked up to one mic, so it's like surround sound in the parking lot of a pizza place. There was 8 chairs set up, and just in the, if I'm not mistaken, it's on a handicapped spot, correct? Yes, okay. And it was just unbelievable. I'm telling you, it's got the show, it's got the hipness and goofiness to actually blow up. Like, people thought I was kidding. I'm like, this show can be fucking huge in a few months if you keep doing it. How often do you do that show?
This Friday, 7-Eleven, Pizza Shack.
Okay. Did you posted something a few
Do you do
weeks
it every
ago?
Friday?
No, it's a once-a-month show.
I think you should do it every Friday from now on so that maybe it can gain traction, because once a month's not going to cut it. I'm sorry.
You
cut
posted something a couple weeks ago or so that something famous about that parking lot. That it was like in a movie or something like that. It used to be in El Pollo Loco, or do you remember what it was?
Yes, Ray Ban. I was doing my daily smoking weed and watching Big Lebowski.
You do that daily? The Big Lebowski?
That's correct.
Oh my God.
It's filmed in that parking lot. I've seen.
It's almost like maybe if you didn't smoke pot once, you'd remember what the Big Lebowski was like the next day, and you wouldn't have to rewatch it every day. That I see. That's an interesting routine. Fuck yeah, most people brush their teeth. Kenney Lyon watches the Big Lebowski. Put your hands together for me. He's our Patriot, keeping us safe. I'm so excited about our 2 guests tonight, everybody. They are return guests. Both of them have been on an episode before, and they're 2 of my favorite people, 2 of the funniest people out there, and 2 of my really good friends. Put your hands together for the great Erik Griffin and Moshe Kasher, everybody. Moshe Kasher, Erik Griffin. It's going to be so much fun. Welcome back. So good to have you guys.
Oh, thanks.
2 funny pals.
What's happening?
Moshe, you're all over my Netflix. Every time I log in, it's recommending me so hard.
That's dope. You're all over my YouPorn right now. So that's some fun with that.
Is that because he did a YouPorn, or
Yeah, you would.
he's a
Guys
member?
like me.
I feel like you could.
Joe Rogan calls me Super Twink.
Super Twink is just like a child, right?
I think it's a boyish, bony-looking.
That's a regular twink, but a super twink is just like a 9-year-old boy.
I think so.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
We'll have to check Urban Dictionary for that.
You think the Urban Dictionary has a phrase for a sexualized 9-year-old boy?
Probably.
In the hood, you know how we fuck 9-year-old boys.
Super twink.
And Erik, workaholics, and we just shot a fun sketch together last week.
Nothing from these people. It's all right. No.
Erik
Fuck
and I,
all of you.
Erik
Fuck
and I
all
have,
of you.
Erik and I have this crazy problem when we're near each other. We just go off on we just start writing sketch videos that we never end up shooting.
I know, and they're hilarious.
But if our ideas were, if we ever made any of our ideas, we would be viral. So just
You'll
putting
see.
that out
Just-
there. You just got to take my word for it. This is like a word.
In
tube.
6 months, we're gonna get it together. Just watch. He won't even have time. It'll be called Kill Bob because he can't do this anymore.
Who's
We-
Bob?
I don't know. It'll be somebody. Bob Saget, maybe.
Bob Saget's going to take over for Kill Tony?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm down on my luck, man.
I guess what we need is, Erik, we need one of those people that, like those court reporter
Yeah,
types.
stenographer, just with like right here. They're just,
Just hang
continuously. Well, I don't know why we wouldn't just use our phones and record. I don't have to be archaic with our technology, but
Anyway, so Moshe,
Tony.
what do you think about the Guatemalan Patriot?
Well, no offense, but isn't he like a crazy downgrade from the last dude when I was here? Because not spiritually, although or
Yeah, the
mentally.
costume, right?
The costume is
Yeah,
straight
this
up
is like underoos now compared to.
You guys were both on the show when the actual first Iron Patriot.
Yeah,
was
yeah,
on,
that
right?
guy
I mean,
Great.
your lasers are straight up night lights for where I want to take a piss at 2 a.m.
It's actually all upgrades. You can now sit down. You can do a lot of things like jumping and running.
What happened to the other dude?
He went crazy.
He was just an old model.
He went crazy?
Yeah.
The guy that had a $16,000 Iron Man suit? That guy went crazy? That is so hard to believe.
I don't think he finished the payments on that suit, actually.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, it is a bit of a downgrade, one could say, from appearance alone. But the personalities, we rotate in a new Patriot each week now. So we've gotten a vast array of different personalities and this and that. Not quite the structure that it once was. Kenney almost fills out that pajama top.
Kenny, do you use this as a credit when you go on the road? As seen in the underoos at the Comedy Store?
I love sad Iron Man. You know?
Yeah, it's almost like a frown instead of a... how do you get the helmet to frown? Fuck yeah. Well, I'm excited to have you guys, and comedians have signed up for the opportunity to do a minute. Oh, yeah, Kenney, do you have any questions for our guests?
How do I get booked?
That's a good question.
How did you get booked for this gig? I don't know, man. That was
So my question is, the speaker is near your genital area? Is that how that works?
That is correct.
Oh,
This is crazy. This
that'd be great. Someone's trying to blow you, and you're just like harder, and it's right there. A little bit more to the left.
This Iron Man suit is like if Tony Stark was on government assistance.
It is. It's all Amazon
Oh, that's a great
Prime.
new show, Project Iron Man.
Tony Stark, one of the featured thousandaires of the United States.
We need to start someplace.
So, how do you get booked is your question? That's a pretty...
That is correct.
For what?
For real shows.
Well, what do you mean?
Oh, wait a second. Hey, hold on a second here.
Wow. Shot
Son
fired,
of a, you
Tony.
son of a bitch. That's exactly what the old... That's exactly
Hey,
what the first Patriot
this
did.
is streaming
He used this
live.
as a launching pad, and that guy went from 4,000 Twitter followers to almost...
To Bellevue. He's in
2,000.
Bellevue now. That's a mental hospital in New York, guys. Come
Am
on.
I going to get more Twitter followers from this? Is that what's promised?
Yeah.
Yeah. It
That-
is.
Tony has a Twitter promise.
Is
that
that
he
I
gives
get
us.
water and like 200 or 300 more, or just actually two or three?
I guarantee one.
It's Iron Man.
Fuck yeah. So you guys know how it works. You guys have both been on, so you know the deal. Comedians and new people. Comedians come on and do a minute of stage time. Then we talk to them about life and their comedy and what they look like. At the end of the minute, you know your minute's up when you hear the sound of a kitty. You can barely hear it. It's such a tiny little baby kitty. Did you guys hear it? It sounds like this. Okay. I see what's happening here.
Is that like a super twink?
That's like a female super twink.
And then you know you got to wrap it up when you hear that cat. It's a lesson for all of comedy. You can't run the light, or else you're going to bring out the angry West Hollywood bear. Obviously. Okay.
And then you're going to bring out Diplo right at the end.
Right. That's
That sounds like a 1989 sound effect from a rap song.
Whoomp, there it is. Fuck yeah. So you don't want to bring out that bear. And our podcast listeners who complain every week that the bear is too loud and they had to rip their headphones out.
Really?
You don't want to make them mad. Yeah. There's a thing because it's loud.
Here's a funny thing. As the listener, you should also learn the thing. If you hear the little cute kitten, you're like, well, maybe I should turn down my little volume a little, or unplug my little.
It's a lot of work to listen to this podcast.
Yeah.
It's a real
Good
tactile
grief.
experience.
Change your tampon.
Oh, I'm going for a jog, but I'm going to turn my volume down. So, fuck yeah. Don't run the light, people. You guys ready? Episode 59 of Kill Tony. I'm so excited. I'm so excited because I know we love comedy. Your first comedian tonight? Oh, this is an interesting one. She's known for at times going into depressing subject, and sometimes when keeping it real goes wrong. Sarah talks about real life stuff sometimes that scares the hell out of people. But she's back, and her name is Sarah Kenney, everybody. Oh, wow, Sarah missed her spot, so that means she just got Kenney blacklisted.
Fuck that hoe.
There you go.
Well, he just had his moment, huh?
You gotta laugh. And Kenney, that is how you get booked.
Exactly. That's one of the best. That's one of the fun traditions of the Patriot. Is they all have a different sound effect. It used to be pew 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 pew, but it's just obviously it's evolved into fuck that hoe. Your next comedian is David Nika.
Is it working?
Is it working?
David Nika. I went to Salt Lake City not too long ago, and I went to visit the Mormon temple. They don't let you into the temple, but they let you into this congregational building. We walked in, over every doorway there's a 6-pointed star. I'm Jewish. My name's David. That's my star. So I said to the Mormon lady, hey, what's going on with the 6-pointed star? She said, oh, that's the Star of Jubilee. Hey, you can't just put Bali on the end of it and pretend we're not going to notice. What's she going to do next? Show me a Muslim flag? Oh, that's the Mormon flag of Allah. You guys are terrific. That was it.
There you go.
Right.
52 seconds of thunder and lightning. David Nika.
That's cool. You did exactly a minute, so you planned out that part where the mic didn't work for the first 10 seconds. That's good timing. They say comedy is timing. That was great.
I thought I heard the kitty.
Heck yeah. What?
I thought I heard the kitty.
Oh. First of all, hearing a man of your size say the word kitty is entertaining
Adorable.
as fuck.
It's adorable.
I thought I heard the kitty. You can see David. He's got quite the build. Something very professional wrestler-esque almost.
Yeah, you don't look like you visited Salt Lake. You look like you founded it.
Oh, fuck yeah. Definitely a lot of salt in that diet.
Sodium.
Fuck yeah,
That was the
David.
chroma jeans.
I thought that was a good setup. You got me on the second one with the Muhammad. I laughed. So
Did you really go to Salt Lake City?
Yeah.
What else did you see there? What's that place like?
It's sort of crazy. It's everybody sort of dressed like J.C. Penney catalog, khakis, plaid shirt tucked in, hair parted on the side.
What were you doing there?
Salt
Scaring
Lake-
people?
Yeah. No, Salt Lake City Comedy Carnival, which was a festival that I got selected to do. It was a lot of fun, actually.
You definitely look like the kind of person that would work at a festival. I don't know if a comedy festival is the festival that you look like you would be at, but
Like the parking lot of a jam band concert is what
yeah,
you're saying. Yeah.
yeah, or like, hey, step right up to the crazy 5-minute freak show of death. We got an alligator lady and like all that stuff.
I like how the top is different from the bottom. It feels like you're missing like a Russian hat or something to
Well, I
finish
am-
that off. Is
Yeah,
that-
I am Russian.
Oh, well, see?
Oh wow,
So,
yeah.
Look at me.
Oh yeah, you gotta. Yeah, I like your look, man. I do.
well, thank you.
It's cool.
It's just
I always say
that's
that
just
this-
how I look.
No, but I always say that to somebody that's twice my size with a beard that terrifying. I think you're a great guy.
That's just how I look. And I just look like this.
Well, you didn't always look like that.
Well, I didn't always have the beard. But
Right. The
I-
beard is lovely.
Thank
It
you.
is truly.
I
It
have always
seems
had
like
it.
it's rough.
Tony can't grow any hair yet. So
True. I only grow it on
He's
one.
really
side of my,
jealous.
I only
Puberty
grow
was
hair
good
on
to me.
one side of my face.
Puberty was good to me, but it's not. It's not like it's an accomplishment.
I will give you a note on your comedy. I feel like you're more confident now and engaging now than you were in the joke. And I feel like you should be twice as engaging when you're performing as when you're in the middle of a conversation. So you know what I'm saying? Like I
Yeah.
felt like when you told me that the Jubilee thing, I almost didn't hear you. So
I felt like I was taking too much time. I think felt a little rushed there.
This is a tough situation. For everybody else that's about to come up, try to get that nervousness out of the way before you get up here. You took the bullet. The mic didn't work,
right.
but, you still got us to laugh. So just in the future,
I like the punchline, too.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. So come with it.
But yeah, for everybody else that's coming up, like, if you're nervous, like, don't fucking bring that bullshit to the stage. You know what I mean? We can't deal with your fucking nerves up here, okay? It's do or die, you piece of shit. So just chill out and have a good time.
Careers have been made on Kill Tony.
How were the audiences in Salt Lake City? What was that like?
It was pretty good. I guess it was sort of an alternative comedy festival. It wasn't the I was talking to them about the local club, which I think is called Wise Guys. And for the local club, you have to be able to do an hour of G-rated, 9-year-olds in the audience material.
Ugh. Oh yeah, super twink material.
So this was sort of the alternative, a festival set up for the alternative to that, and it was just regular funny comedy.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was a good time.
You know who he reminds me of? Remember that toy that had the magnet? He had like a big red nose, and he had the magnet. He made the beard.
Oh yeah. The
Oh yeah. Wow,
you have a good look.
At that.
Thank you.
Are you like a motorcycle person?
I actually am. Yeah. But I haven't ridden in a while. I got in an accident. I've been staying off for a while.
All right, look, don't
I
bring.
just want to point out that we're dressed the same. What the fuck's going on?
Oh yeah. Do you ride a motorcycle?
Yeah, we're like the dance crew right here. What does that mean?
You guys are just
Next
like,
guy.
You look like more the kind of guy that would ride in a sidecar of a motorcycle.
But a really little one.
The co-pilot.
With super twink driving, right?
Fuck yeah. You guys both wear shirts that easily hide spilled ketchup. So I know.
And look like you eat French fries quite a bit.
I
so
do.
That's a lucky break.
Every shirt I have has a stain on it. Do you have that problem? It just gets probably trapped in the beard.
That's what the beard's for.
Yeah, it's just like a little built-in bib.
It's my food catcher. All right, David.
Awesome.
Thank
David.
you so much.
so much.
Fun times.
Thank you.
Salt Lake City. Sarah Kenney just moved to the front seat after somebody tell you that you were blacklisted?
You weren't just blacklisted.
Word
you were
travels
blacklisted
fast.
with extreme prejudice.
Yeah.
There was misogyny involved. Iron Man got real hood at the end.
I made 3 stops to find his tampon.
Oh, that is. Hey.
Is that true?
Oh.
Well, in honor of
Oh God!
in honor of Erik's shirt, then
Talk about a stain.
come on up into a minute. But in honor of you being on your period, you're only going to get 40 seconds instead of 1 minute. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead. Sarah Kenney on her period, everybody. Fuck yeah. From rags to riches. She's back on the show. She's been red listed, everybody. Come on, I can do this.
Hey-o!
Sarah Kenney, everybody. I'm sorry, Sarah.
Just looking for spotting.
So we decided to have an intervention for this friend of mine. And I was pretty nervous because I never did anything like that before. But it didn't go at all how we planned. She ended up convincing all of us to try Coke. And I guess what I learned is that interventions are pretty fun. And I would probably do another one, given the opportunity. I was at a coffee shop, and the guy next to me asked if I'd keep an eye on his laptop while he went to the bathroom. I guess he thought I looked honest. But then, I had to mess with him a little bit. While he was in there, I got on his computer, and I updated his web browser. And when he got back, he had no idea how safely he was using the internet. You guys can probably tell from my accent that I'm vegan. I'm not super strict, though. Sometimes I'll let myself have, a little kitten.
There you go. There's the cue.
Wow.
She nailed it.
Oh,
Wow.
Speaking
Powerful.
of timing,
that was okay.
She brought it. Sarah Kenney, everybody. Even fitting in a kitty at the end. Wow.
Man, you should do more stand-up when you're iron deficient. It's,
don't say that around Iron Man over there. He'll scream, "Fuck that hoe" again.
Oh, shit. Some kind of shimmy from the Patriot. Some kind of very awkward shimmy. Sarah, that was so fun. What was the beginning part about again?
The intervention?
Oh, yeah. That's funny.
Thanks.
I didn't see that coming. There's probably more to add on to that with the fact that, I just felt like you were already in, and there's, your friend's probably gonna die, but
Yeah, but we all had a good time. So.
Right.
Yeah.
And well,
It wasn't real.
Well,
well,
Sorry.
I can appreciate what you're trying to do with your material. It's kind of alty-ish, like misdirection type
Here
of
we
thing.
go.
No, I'm just. I appreciate that, but I just think that that I know you're only doing a minute, but that first one could have gone a little longer. You could have embellished on that a little bit more. But I like your direction that you're going in. I see what you're trying to do, but sell it, believe it. Don't make it. It kind of felt like you were just right? And it's like. Part of the alt thing would be to like you really believe what you're about to say.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it funny when you say I went to you really went to an intervention. It has to come across like that.
Yeah.
So it's performance is important. So just keep
Commit
that in
a little
mind.
bit more.
That's what I think about it.
Yeah, no, I actually agree. I thought that the first punchline was funny. It was a good. It's a one-liner, and then the second thing, it wanted an act out of you acting like you were on coke. Saying some coke shit,
Okay.
or
Okay.
just dropping it and just doing a one-liner.
Go one way or the other.
Well, what you were trying to do is say I love cocaine, I'm addicted to it, I want to do it, it's really fun. But what you said was I think I'll try it again, and I wanted, you know what I mean. The second joke I didn't actually understand, and maybe that's my fault because everybody laughed and.
The laptop.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, at first I had a
that was
version
us.
of that joke where I actually fucked with something on his computer in a bad way, but then I thought, what if I just updated the safety features and so now
See,
he can
that's
use
that's
the
what I'm
web
saying.
browser.
That's a performance thing. That's a very alty hey, you know what I mean?
No, well,
and
no,
I think that I was with her on that.
I
And she just
actually-
didn't sell it.
Interesting. Maybe I must be wrong because everybody laughed, but I think it would have been better for you to say updated the browser to me doesn't say I downloaded Norton antivirus software, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just...
It's a
Maybe I'm
misdirection.
wrong. I get that it's a misdirection.
No, if you're gonna mess
but I
with
didn't
somebody's
get it.
computer, you mess with it to go to
Right,
a
to put
porno
a porn
site.
site.
She
No, I
said,
got
"No, I
it.
fixed it." That was the joke. The joke was that she didn't go the mainstream way. That's the joke of it.
Yeah, maybe
This
it's
is how I feel about alternate comedy anyway. This is how I feel when I'm listening to it too. I go, "What the fuck was that?" Why is that funny to people? But I get it. That's what I'm saying.
And why is that guy's career going better than mine? It's complicated.
Most of them aren't, though.
No, you're right.
I
No,
would never
just
say
fucking with
that.
you. We've been having this argument since the day we met, basically, which is that club comedy is as bad as alternative comedy. Bad comedy is bad comedy.
Right.
Good comedy is good comedy. It doesn't matter what package it's in. I mean, there's shitty comics that are at the Laugh Factory, and there's terrible comics that are at Meltdown, and it's all just the same.
I agree completely.
I agree as well.
But what I'm telling you is that she was trying to be alty and didn't sell it well enough.
Right, maybe.
That has to do with your persona. You have to really be it's like Stephen Wright or something. He just says things in a monotone way, but you got where he was coming from. I didn't get where you were coming from. You wanted that to just be funny on its own, and I fixed his computer, and we're supposed to go, "Oh, I got it." You didn't do that, but I get where you're going with it, and keep working on it.
So my opinion is that specificity is funny. It's the more specific, the more funny it is. And so how safely he was browsing isn't as specific as he had no idea
make
that
it
he
more
now
clear.
has 64 gigabytes of clean RAM or whatever thing
Yeah,
it is specific.
put some details.
Yeah.
I gotcha. I'm a computer nerd.
Yeah,
I can
I
do
like that. That you cleared his cache, and
But it's funny you said that about the porn, because the first time I told that joke, that's what I said, that I
Well, I'm a mainstream
navigated to a porn site and cranked up the
And
volume.
I respect that.
And I got no laughs.
I go for the easy laughs.
No, I think that's a good instinct, actually, is to take your material and say, okay, well, what's an even more interesting twist that I can put on this than the thing that somebody's thinking?
Yeah.
Right, and that's what, and I'm saying, you could have done that if you just didn't sell it well enough. And I agree with him. Some specifics where they really set that off. But you're going in the right direction. I give her an endorsement.
Fuck yeah. The style of Sarah Kenney, everybody. She's on Twitter at @SKenneyComedy.
She's on period at right now.
Fuck yeah. Just letting it all flow. Sarah Kenney. Very exciting. Kenny, you're Guatemalan. Have you ever been with a girl while she was on her period?
Would that be
No,
like?
But I have taken a girl's virginity.
It's a blood joke, guys, is what he's trying to do.
Yep.
The blood for blood thing.
I would have gone salsa, since he's from.
Okay, I would like that, yeah.
All right, nobody got that one.
I think they got it. They didn't want it. You know, it's so gross. You think about. All right, let's move on.
Because it's chunky.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to say the word chunky. I'm glad you did, though.
Do you guys remember if when you were on last, did I ever ask you if there was something that you did when you first started comedy that you regret or that you're embarrassed about? Did I ask you that? I started asking that around episode, I don't know, 30-something.
I don't know. I remember my first. I think one of my first. My first joke I ever wrote was about having a big nose. But I remember doing this other joke about Superman. You know, and I'm sure half the comics in here probably had the same joke. You know, it's like, you know, I have my glasses, so I'd be like, you know, Clark Kent, you know, look at me, I'm Clark Kent. Now I'm Superman, you know. Put my glasses back on. I'm Clark Kent again, you know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that is embarrassing.
Yeah, when I look back on it now, I'm like, you know. There's certain you know what, I'll tell you, in this day and age, the internet, especially Twitter, makes topics hacky fast. You know, it just makes it like, okay, you can't talk about that anymore because everybody's talking about it. So, you know, you just got to be aware of that kind of like, you know, you just got to be aware of stuff. There's certain topics you just never can talk about. Like, I don't want to hear anyone ever talking about the side effects of medication. Like, that's one of those that, like, if you have a joke like that, go kill yourself right now. Don't ever do that joke on stage ever. So tear that out of your book because that's just one of those ones that you just go, all right, that's done. No one's ever going to talk about that.
Right.
Like strip club voice, that kind of thing.
Oh, that drives me crazy.
That's the worst.
Oh my god.
Have you ever read?
Have you ever read Andy? Kill yourself.
You ever read Andy Kindler's Hack Handbook?
Oh, I gotta get that.
It's online. Anybody can read it. Just Andy Kindler's The Hack's Handbook, and you read it, and you're like, yeah, and then invariably you get to something you do. You're like, fuck you, Andy Kindler. Suck my dick. You don't know shit.
You fucking hack.
Yeah, this is hack. This whole being hack is hack. So, you know.
I used to do a thing where I would act super like hip hop on stage and like it would like I thought that my look kind of belied, you know, it was because I grew up sort of, you know, I was an African American teenager,
right.
and so then and then I realized I had the opposite of my identity crisis. I figured out I was white, but then I like weirdly psychologically brought it back to armor myself with it when I started comedy. So I would do this thing where I looked like kind of a geek, but I was doing this like kind of hip hop slang stuff. And I now realize it was mostly a defense mechanism. It was mostly like, well, let me put a thing between my personality and the audience so that nobody can get to me or whatever. But you know, but these days it's just like I'm feeling it. You know what I mean?
I see what happens.
Yeah.
But now you could do that.
Now it's
at an alt show, and it would be like, oh, he's doing a hip hop character, and it would be okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we get away with murder, man.
Because it's a comfortable environment, you know.
I love it. I know some people still that actually, and I won't name any names, but I know some people that have gotten successful, and they blatantly have that shield, and now they have to stick with it, you know? They got success while being a hip-hoppy white guy who's not really like that off stage. He's not like, yo, what up, man? But he sort of is on stage. And now he's stuck doing that forever, and it's not even him that's going to suck.
No, I tell you what's not cute is a 35-year-old comedian, like, trying to act hip-hop. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still at it. What's up? What's up? Beastie Boys. Everybody's like, no, you're 2 decades too late.
Yo,
what are you talking about, Moshe?
What are you talking about, boy?
Where the ladies at?
Where my Public Enemy fans at? Oh, they don't exist anymore.
First of all, this is the whitest shit ever.
Like, well, that's the point.
Is this your hip hop? Because this is some corny ass
white shit. That's the point. That's the joke we were making.
No, because
white people.
We're doing Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, that was the exact thing we were doing.
No, because there's a certain...
where's all my black homies at? It's like that. It's
ugh.
That was I doubled up on that one. That was overkill. I said black and homies. It was that I went like way over the top.
Isn't that what Anthony tweeted?
Yeah, same shit.
Because apparently only a white guy can assault you on the street and you could talk about it. Because if somebody else of color attacks you on the street and you tweet about it, you're a racist. So I think that's dumb. Just to go back to that issue.
I see. But he then called black people animals. I think that was more the problem people had with it.
I think he was calling that woman an animal.
Yeah, he said these people, so he couldn't have been talking unless he had a weird psychedelic experience where she became a group.
I think people are nitpicking the guy's words. I think like if you had to ask him, I think when you're upset and you say these people, you don't mean all people.
Well, what he was referring to is that woman was there, and then some other black guys sat around and watched them, and instead of helping them.
But then he said we've really come a long way from the civil rights movement. I'm not saying he should have been fired. I'm just saying it wasn't like.
What are you saying, Moshe?
I'm just saying it wasn't like he was being like, it could have been interpreted as a race. It was definitely racist. But
if you were listening to the whole backstory of it, I think everyone knows what kind of racist he is. He's very jokingly about it, and he's not very serious about it. He's talking about certain issues in New York that's going on with violence in the black community.
I don't think he was trying to be funny, and I think that it's hard. I'll tell you, because I used to get beat up by black people, and
here
I'll
we
tell
go.
you, it is really
that's
hard.
as shocking as the guy with the Iron Man costume going crazy.
It's really hard to not seem racist after you got beat up by a black guy.
That's my point. That's what I feel about it.
It is, because you're going.
What are you supposed to say?
But you would never. Okay, I hear you, and everybody is everybody's response. Everybody has their own response to anger, and you never are pretty when you're angry. But if a white dude beat you up, it's not very difficult for you to not be racist towards white people.
I would say that he was an animal.
Right, that's my point.
Yeah.
He could have said the exact same thing. These people, then you would have referred to, you'd been like, well, does he mean street people or people on the street? Like, if they were all white, he could have used the exact same wording.
Right.
That's my point. So because he didn't use because it was people of color, then all of a sudden it becomes racist. And it's like, I find that nonsense.
Man, what do you know about this issue? Anyway, back to me and my opinions on the black community, what it's like. No,
I'm just telling you here.
He's doing his character right now. See, that was the hip hop persona.
Yeah,
is that more genuine?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Thank you very much. That means a lot to me.
I've never even thought of savages as a negative or a racist term. I always especially when you work with people, I call people savages as an awesome thing. Like that.
You could be an awesome love maker, and they say he's a savage.
Yeah, but context is absolutely everything. Yeah, if I saw you do a kickflip and I was like, "Dog, you're a savage," that would feel very different than if I ran up to a group of black dudes in South Central and was like, "What's up, you bunch of savages?"
How about getting
you think
beat
they'd be
up?
like, "Hey, he must think I'm dope."
Yeah,
he must think. How does he know I skateboard?
If a white guy did the exact same thing and you called him up, wouldn't you call him a savage also?
But don't you know that there's a historical context for the term savage?
A lot of people don't know that. I had no idea. I learned it.
I don't know if you're thinking about historical context when you're getting your ass beat by a hooker.
But he wasn't. He had time.
And
Look,
I
don't want to go on the record because I don't think anybody should get fired for things that they say, especially a shock jock who's known for being shocking.
Yeah, it's like fuck them for thinking. All of a sudden now being like, hey, this guy.
All right, I found a link to the tweets so we can read them and then we can decide if they sound racist or just like a guy going through a process talking about how cool Savage is where he was hanging out with.
Before we hit the tweets, I just want to say that Kill Tony supports all black people and Anthony Cumia from the Opie and Anthony show. This message brought to you by El Pollo Loco, bringing the heat one Serrano pepper at a time.
And if you
sponsorship, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
And if you look
That's
up
when you know your podcast has made it. Speaking of black people, we're sponsored by chicken. You know what I mean?
That was everybody.
Thanks, Tony. That was real smooth. Speaking of the savages,
because it gets crazy.
This is
at El Pollo Loco.
This is interesting. This is interesting how every tweet is like. To me, and I'm a liberal, I know who I am. I know that I always am more likely to...
Jew.
I'm a Jew. You're the one that did a joke about your big nose. You might be Jewish, too. But it is weirdly, like, almost totally racist and then back off every single tweet. So should I read them all?
Yes. Mind you, he just got punched in the face and didn't punch back.
Right, okay.
And he had a gun
Well,
on
because
him.
if he would have punched the girl back, it would have been all about that after that. It would have been like, you hit a girl! Oh, and you're racist! And it's like, oh my God, so what are you supposed to do?
There's some stuff where black stuff doesn't really come up. He calls her a cunt and a dirty, filthy pig. And then he says, she punched me 5 more times. She's lucky I was a white legal gun owner or she'd be dead. Then 5 blacks started giving me shit. I told them to back the fuck off. This wasn't their show. The cunt punched me again. Seems white boys don't hit back. Lucky Savage. I wish a cop was around. Oh, blah, blah, blah. They aren't people. That's one tweet. They aren't people. I'm fucking...
Wait. These aren't people are not connected.
Hey,
people. It could be a bunch of white people again. But see, you're looking into this because the person's black.
Well, he has brought up her race multiple times in this Twitter thing already, and the race of the other people. So I'm just saying, like, there's no way he didn't know. Like, maybe this could be conflated to me
what was
talking
the
about
tweet
race.
before they aren't people?
Wish a cop was around, although she said she'd tell them I sexually harassed her. Lying cunt. I hope she gets shot in her ass fuck face. Getting a good laugh. That's important.
So this is not only a person that's beating him up, but also saying if he calls the police, he'll say that he tried to rape her.
Nobody thinks she's awesome. Nobody's like she's a great person.
But you're defending really, really...
No, I'm not.
No, he's not defending it.
I'm not defending anything.
Vague racism at best.
Okay, well, let's keep going.
Very liberal media right now.
There isn't a media. There's just what he said.
No, you're being the liberal media right now.
No,
That's
I'm
how
not
they look
saying
into
anything.
things.
I'm just reading it and listening to what people think. People think here.
If he had said this black bitch hit me,
if this all
I
black
still would've been
people
okay
in the
with that.
world are animals, that's what would be bad.
Okay, all right. So then they aren't people. I'm fucking livid. If I was an illegal savage, I'd have shot her. The violence in her was so predictable. I hope she gets killed. It's a jungle out in our cities after midnight. Violent savages own the streets. They all come to defend this pig. I had to yell at them like dogs. Did you get any photos of her? Yup. Animal, pig, cunt, fuck, bitch. Why'd you get hit for no reason? Reason? I was white. Savage, violent animals prey on white people. Easy target. This cunt had no clue how lucky she was. She belted me 10 times. I had a gun. Animal. The cunt kept walking into my arm. I hope a homeboy beats her to death. No, an animal bitch used its instinctual violence on me.
We just lost El Pollo Loco. I just got the text from El Pollo Loco. That's what I have them in my phone as.
Okay, so the last two tweets. The switch to violence is immediate. No discussion, just violence. When will that be addressed? Oh, right, never. Slavery did it. Oh, okay. There's a deep-seated problem with violence in the black community. To try to address it, you'll be exiled to Racistville, but it's real. Peace out, y'all. He didn't say the last part. I don't know. I think.
See, if you've listened to the show, you've heard all this before. This is about 1,000 episodes before. Sirius Radio had no problem giving him a check for saying the exact same shit on radio. Mm-hmm. And like we talked about this today on Joe Rogan podcast, he's the one that brought that point up. But if you were to take all his tweets, sit him down in front of a microphone, and he would have said it the exact same way he's done it every single time before, he would still have a job. There would be no problem about this because how he is explaining it sounds horrible in 140 characters.
You know what's interesting also is that had it been a guy, he would have fought back. And he would have had an outlet. And that outlet
and he wouldn't have tweeted it, you're saying?
Right,
That's
exactly.
interesting.
No, I mean, had it been a guy, they would have fought, and he would have had an outlet for it. When you get
Well, he probably would have pulled out his gun, and then that would have been another situation.
Right, exactly.
It's interesting,
but
though,
he still
because
wouldn't
white
have
guys
been.
got to pull out a gun on black
I think
people.
either way, he still has his job.
We already have a precedent for that.
I think that Twitter is used at times nowadays as a
Can I say
device to let your anger out and get comfort from the people.
Yeah, white people just don't. I'm not saying don't be racist. Just don't do it on media so that everybody can see you do it. Why do people?
That's his job.
I hear you, but it's not.
But what I'm saying is this: him being a racist on the radio and being a racist as a person, and him being mad at this. What happened to him? They're not mutually exclusive.
You can say it. Say the N-word.
No, I don't give a fuck. It's not mutually exclusive. So what I'm saying is like his track record of being a racist, because he probably has a little bit of that in him. Just from after you read the tweets, I was like, well, yeah, he's a veiled racist a little bit. All right, it's okay. We live in a country where if you don't like people, you can express that. All right, but at the same time, what happened to him is also not okay. And if he could be angry about that all he wants. And he could say the things he said all he wants because that's how he felt about it. And if you take away the language of savage and jungle and all that stuff and you put in, smarter alti words, the message is still clear. There's problems with violence on the street. There's problems in low-income communities. There's, all these kind of topics. If you want to wrap it up and make it sound nice, fine. But, it is what it is.
Yeah, we just got El Pollo Loco back.
El Pollo Loco.
Damn, I need some chicken right now.
El Pollo Loco, if you want to make it sound nice, come have some chicken.
We are bringing the heat.
Wow, that was a racist little...
Oh, I am an avowed racist. Oh, did I not make that clear? I'm just also very sensitive to it on social media.
All right, sorry. Let's get back. Let's get some more comics.
Speaking
up
of
here.
races, there's many different races.
This just got crushingly unfunny.
People, I picked the next name, and it's Cheryl Luder.
Cheryl
Luder.
Cheryl Luder.
Oh, I'm excited.
I'm excited. What's up, you guys? I have been unemployed so long. I've given up looking for jobs and started looking for dates. Just so I can see what it feels like to work again. An unemployed woman is actually the perfect date. She has low expectations and high appreciation. Dinner and a movie, and I feel totally spoiled. All that food and shelter. Awesome. Sometimes, though, I don't feel like I'm on a date with a guy. I feel more like I'm on a play date with his penis. You have to keep it constantly entertained. You're always cleaning up after it, and you just hope and pray that it goes down for a nap when you want it to. Quickly, while we're on the subject, some advice. Blowjobs, it's time to have a new word. It has the word job in it. When you're making 76 cents on the dollar, the last thing you want to do is go back to work again, okay? It's 2014, get some creative marketing. You'd be getting more head than you knew what to do with if you just called it anti-aging throat moisturizer.
So close.
Fucking buried a cow during that. Did you hear that?
Wait, what was it? Anti-aging?
Anti-aging throat moisturizer.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Get on board.
The blowjob joke is probably the oldest joke that everyone's ever done before, taking the job part out of it and going, oh, it's a job, making a job joke. I have 2 comics that have that same joke.
You've had 2 comics?
I've had them, both of them.
What does that mean?
Giving blowjobs to both.
Message received.
I will say this. I think that what you're trying to do, I get it. No, for real.
It's like an alternate
No,
thing,
it's not. No, shut up. No, for real. What you didn't do is you didn't sell it. You don't believe the things that you're saying. You didn't put anything behind it. I get that you wanted to come up and the joke is, I don't have a job, so I'm going to start dating. So that's a layered joke. That's about women don't have to work. We just need a man. Okay, that was the point of that, right?
No.
Well, then you really then my point is this. Then you really haven't expressed what you're trying to say, and it's hard because in this environment, after we just had this heated discussion about racism, then you got to come up and be bubbly, right? You know what I mean?
And and your accent was so strongly white that it felt like you were being more racist than Anthony.
Yeah. Absolutely. The first few syllables are
you see, even now,
I think that's racist.
Are you doing a bit right now? Because we just discussed this problem in society.
So I just think that if you come figure out who you are, and if you can come up and just do that. Well, it's hard. It's the hardest thing to do. If everybody could do stand-up comedy, everybody would be. There's only 2 or 3% of all the comics in the world that are probably actually working. The rest of them are tragic open micers. You know what I mean?
Trapped in an Iron Man costume.
You know what I mean? So this is. It's not for everyone. This is like playing the piano. You have to practice every single day. It's an art form that you have to really practice. So I wouldn't go away from what you're trying to do, but you need to express what you're trying to do. Then what was the point of that joke? If you're saying, I don't have a job, so I'm going to start dating, what was the point of that then? To you.
How long have you been doing stand-up?
Well, can she answer that?
Almost 3 years.
Almost 3 years?
How often do you do spots?
Oh, talking to the mic.
Any of it?
I go up at least 3 times a week.
Mm-hmm. for 3 years, pretty steadily.
I had a chunk of time out of there that was not steady at all.
Huh.
I still want to know what the point of that joke was. In your opinion.
I just have a lot of free time and
See-
I'm depressed. And I need
this
to
is
have
my point.
mood elevated.
You guys can all learn from something right here. Most of you don't know what your jokes are about. How can you come on stage and say something and you don't know what the point is? Because check it out. How the fuck are we supposed to know the point of your joke if you don't even know the point of your joke?
Was the sound effect really necessary right then?
I'm just saying, like, that's really, like, I think, and that goes for professionals. That goes for professional people. Most people don't know what their jokes are about. They think because they say words that that's what the joke's about, especially buzzwords like rape or racism or something. They go, well, that's a rape joke. No, it's probably not. It's probably about a monkey that did whatever. I don't know. I'm just saying, if you don't know what your joke's about, then what are you saying it for?
You're so right, too. We have this all the time that happens where people come up and you're like, really like, wait, they're just kind of talking about something vaguely.
Yeah.
There's no wrap around, there's no story to it that actually gets to a point that we go, oh, like it's just kind of like
But I mean,
babbling.
words are visual. You don't have to say a lot of words. Just know what you're talking about. Like, you can bring images to people's face. Like, if I say the words bloody stool, I mean, that's a clear visual is in your head. you
Yeah,
know?
it's a British dude describing a chair.
Alternative. What do you mean? You're so alty. My point. You see, but my
I'm
point.
sorry, I
is-
have to be a mainstream comic and just fuck the stool.
At least people would be laughing.
You guys are out of This is the funniest fucking combination.
Well, we've
ever.
literally been having this
Oh, yeah, this
conversation
all the
our
time.
whole
So-
friendship.
This is our 5th podcast talking about the difference.
Especially since, in my opinion, as a guy that knows both of you, I look at both of you like right in the middle of both of those things.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
I
know what
think
you're
that. So it's funny.
I know what you're saying.
It's
I know what
funny
you're
for me to see you guys both like
What? Can I
defending.
can I just say this? What people think alternate comedy now, it's not really what it is anymore. I have a new definition of this. Well, I'm glad you're here. Really,
Great.
it's really
I'll let my people know.
It's really about intelligence. It's really about the use of vocabulary. It's really about like a lot of the people are very educated. They've had college degrees. They are professional writers, and that is expressed in their material and how they perform their material. And that's really what it's turned into now. I mean, the nerds have hijacked that, and I don't think it's a bad thing, because people come up and a lot of people start comedy, they didn't go to college, or they think, oh, I'm going to make it now, and I don't need to get educated. And, the people that are educated, they're the ones running the business. So it doesn't mean...
Yeah, I
You know
gotta
what I'm saying?
disagree with you. I mean,
Well-
like, Dennis Miller is the most verbose.
Yeah, but that was like, you're talking about 30 years ago now? I'm talking about people, I'm talking about right now. I'm
It's
not-
just a vocabulary thing?
No. I'm saying that's just part of it. I'm just saying having a rich vocabulary, being educated, being well read. I think
truth
all
is-
those things, the good alternative comics now, that's part of what they have.
The
And I
truth
think
is,
it's important.
there's no such thing as alternative comedy or mainstream comedy. There's just comedy, and some of it looks.
That's the hacky answer.
But you're the hack.
Such a
Why would
hacky
you?
answer.
You're the mainstream hack. How you gonna? No, I'm
It's
just
such a
kidding.
mainstream
Yeah.
jumps
No,
now. You're
but
the
it's-
mainstream
yeah,
guy.
but it's-
That's like you doing, can we all just get along? What are you,
No,
the
but-
Rodney King of fucking...
But it's the truth. It's like Rick Glassman pretty much only does clubs, and if somebody looked at him who didn't know him out of context, they'd be like, "Look at this alt comic here."
Oh,
and
he's super alty. What are you talking
but
about?
Yeah.
all he does is clubs. So what does that mean? I mean, there is abstract comedy, which I think is true. Like Rick Glassman does
Very
it, Brent
abstract.
Weinbach, Reggie Watts. These are people that do
Yeah,
weird comedy, which is a whole different thing. Because there's nothing weird about what Patton Oswalt
but-
does.
Right.
It's pretty much just comedy.
But again, you're mentioning people from that started the movement as opposed to what I'm saying is happening now.
I totally have to pee.
No.
Okay.
Stay right where you are. We're still in the middle of discussing your bit.
you
No,
have
I'm just
to
kidding.
pee?
Go.
You inspired this discussion.
She has
Just
to
keep
pee?
at it.
Let's do another one, right?
Yeah.
What is she going to do if she ever has a 7-minute spot?
Pee ahead of time and get a tampon. Oh,
Yeah.
callback.
I'm surprised she has to pee since she just shit on stage.
Hello!
Man.
Sorry, but she wasn't in the room to hear that, so it doesn't matter.
Boo.
I don't feel
Can I have your
bad.
water? Can I have that water?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, yeah, that
is,
one
is
was-
this live? Are people actually listening?
Not right now.
Oh, I was
let's
going to
do
say, I
another
want
one.
somebody to
This
tweet
one's
at me.
going through quite the editing process. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Let's do another one.
Your next comedian goes by the name Frankie Wayne.
Whoa. Was that Master of Puppets into Mega Man?
Frankie, you just
Is that what that
got
was?
blacklisted.
Oh, that sucks. I mean, people are signing up and not staying around. That's some. See, that's some
Kenney, what do
Hollywood
you-
shit.
Wait, no, because everybody that signed up tonight was an alternative comic, and they're afraid of you now.
No, Frankie's on his period. Ah! Call back! Come on. Who's with me?
Kenny, what do you got? Frankie Wayne just got
Anybody?
blacklisted.
Fuck that faggot.
Oh, my God.
Jesus. Come on,
Wow.
man.
Oh, I'm just waiting for the N-bomb. Please send an N-bomb.
Kenny, that's not how you book things, Kenny.
Yeah, that is not how you get booked.
Come on, Kenny. Here on...
Actually, wait. If we're doing a comedy discussion, I think faggot is a great example of a word. This is very interesting. When I started comedy, faggot was a word that could get you a laugh almost automatically. It was
Right.
like a comedy buzzword. You'd say it, especially in alternative rooms. It would get a laugh. If it was done ironically, people would go, ha, ha, ha. And then slowly over time, I started to notice that the world evolved. It has nothing to do with comedy, to where it was an unacceptable word. And you could feel the shift. I always say it was good for the world, bad for comedy. You know, like, because I've excised that word from my act altogether, for good reason. I think the world is a better place for it. But I think that's an interesting example. That word doesn't work on stage anymore. Ho, unfortunately, still does. eyes on the prize.
But
Heck yeah.
but it works in my head. But there's no way he could tell that my head's laughing.
Yeah. Your throat moisturizer is laughing.
Because when I heard it, I laughed still, just because he said it and how he said it. But
Everything's context.
Yeah.
You know, he had a ridiculous outfit on in a ridiculous environment, and he said that we laugh. I don't think anything's off limits.
No, I don't. It's not off limits. A master comedian can say whatever they want at any time. I'm just saying, in general, there are certain words that have a lot more power than other words
I
on
agree.
stage, and that has become one of them since I started doing comedy.
Well, I think because people talk about these kind of things, and they're in the black and white, and comedy's in the gray area, and that's, political correctness is not in the gray area. It's either this or that, and I think that's what's wrong with society when they watch comedy.
But what's right with Black Sheep? You can get with this, you can get with that. Nothing. Thank you. An applause break, but not one laugh. That's amazing. That's a new one.
But that's all you really want as an alternate
Oh,
comic.
fuck you.
You don't want laughs. You want people to go, that was brilliant, Moshe.
I want to scream. I want to scream the word callback every time I do one, so that the audience knows.
Yeah, but they thought that was funny.
No, it was funny.
Put your hands
Call
together
back.
for your next comedian. He goes by the name of Jonathan Tumblin. He's here, Jonathan Tumblin.
Yeah, black comic up in this bitch. Finally.
I'm just glad he didn't get blacklisted. Uh-oh.
Can we fix this shit? Here.
Thank you, Eric. Guys, I went home to visit. I'm from the South. I was in Atlanta recently. And I'm out here in L.A. doing comedy and things of that nature. And my friends, they decided to show me a good time. So the check came around, and my boy, he got kind of pissed at me. And he was like, hey, man, what the fuck is gratuity and how many did you have? Like, is that shit good? And I was like, y'all don't know what gratuity is either. Okay. Being in the South, like a lot of my friends, like they're not as articulate as I may be. And I told one of my friends who was coming out to visit, and he was like, what is there to do? I was like, we go to the mall, go to the beach, we can go for a hike. And he was like, nah, nigga, I ain't trying to go to jail. You out there hiking computers and shit. All right, that's it. That's my time.
Fuck yeah.
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 I forgot hike even meant to steal something.
yeah, I've never heard that.
Well,
I remember when I was on the streets and I knew that.
And they would
Whatever, Tony.
they would hike you and beat you up.
Yeah. I was,
one, I'll say good for you for coming to this type of show and this type of environment and trying to be yourself. I think that's good. But again, this is all just about nervousness and trying to be yourself. Because I think that if you were in a different environment, you would have sold all that with more umph. No, but that's more reason to say something even about it. Listen, if you have something on your mind or if you feel the crowd is feeling a certain way, I'd say the best way to get past that is to just say it. It really takes, You know what I mean?
Yeah,
if
no,
you feel
for
like
sure.
everybody's uncomfortable, and you go, "Wow, this room's uncomfortable." Even that kind of makes people go, "Yeah, we were uncomfortable," and the next thing you know, they're like with you.
Right.
know?
Oh, how about a black dude starts talking about racism now, or something? Something.
Yeah,
some such.
yeah, just something. Just read the situation and comment on it, because then you didn't give your best performance, worried about these motherfuckers, and fuck them. Who cares what these people think? You know what I mean? Just do your thing.
How do you
know?
feel about the Anthony thing? What would you do if a white woman hit you in the face?
I'd probably have sex with her.
Well done. Very
Forceful
well done.
sex. See,
Perfect.
that was your natural inclination to
I
like
almost-
fuck white women. I like that. And you went right with it. You see what I'm saying? Like that's like you. Now you're being yourself. You're comfortable, but like I'm saying, you were uncomfortable. And I just think that and you got your N bomb. Are you happy about that?
That was great. No, I would say my only critique would be, you were nervous and you're new, and that's fine. I think they're jokes and they work. My two critiques. Well, first of all, you did the same joke structurally twice. I have a friend who misunderstood a fancy word and didn't understand what it meant. So I would say tell one or the other in a set, and then the first one I wanted an act out again from your friend. I wanted to know. Or some setup for why, you know what I mean? Because I knew what you were saying. I knew and the joke is funny, but I think it'd be funny if you had some dude that really didn't, was looking at the check like, what the fuck, and did a full act out, or something like that. Yeah.
Why does
Yeah.
he have to do an act out?
What's that?
Why can't he just use his words?
He can. I'm just saying it didn't.
Oh, because he's a black comic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that why he's got to be animated?
Right.
Moshe?
Also, I
He
really
can't just be smart. He can't do that.
Yeah, I really wanted to see you have a towel also around your shoulders so that you could dab the sweat. Just like I wanted to see you come out to a DJ. You know what I mean? I wanted you to be like, what's happening, everybody?
Play the same song like
Here's all the racism is coming out, everybody. Here it is.
Right. I wanted you to say praise God at the end of your set. Like I wanted a lot. No, all I was saying was an act.
Yeah.
I said that to a white comic earlier. Oh, get out of here.
It's different, though.
Watch, I'm gonna get fired from Sirius. I don't even have a job there.
That'd be great. You got a letter. You are no longer working.
But I don't work for you.
But for public relations, they have to fire you.
But I like the hike. I like the hike joke. I thought that was funny. I liked it.
Cool. Yeah, I'm trying to work it out. It's new.
Just keep working it out. Don't be afraid to just be you.
Yeah, I'm scared of shit, man. I don't know what happened, but yeah.
No, but that's what I'm saying. But this is what, can I tell you something, people? This is just like equivalent to like when Shaquille O'Neal would say he can make all his free throws at practice.
Right.
But he couldn't make them in the game.
Right.
This is an example of that right now. This is
Yeah,
just
but
a
why's it got to
podcast.
be Shaquille O'Neal though?
Because he can't shoot free throws.
Okay, yeah, good point.
All right. This is like going into an audition room and not being ready. So that's what doing comedy for years and years and every night prepares you. So when a situation comes, you can be yourself. So that's why you have to continue to keep doing this and keep doing it and keep doing it. So you won't be in a situation where, you're going to freeze up. Because you never know in this town. You never know.
That is the truth.
Somebody could just been back there and been like, you know what, I like how that guy did that. And next thing you know, you're off and running on something else or a better show. You never know. So you can't, don't squander your opportunities because of your nerves.
That was a lesson I learned, like right when I moved to L.A., I was doing that Westwood Brewco open mic.
Oh, yeah.
And I felt, because I had moved from San Francisco where I had moved beyond open mics. I was like, I'm too
Or you
good
thought
for that.
you did.
I thought I did, exactly.
Yeah.
And then I moved here. Nobody gave a fuck about what I was doing in San Francisco, so I needed stage time, so I did this thing. And this guy came up to me, and I felt like my ego was like, I shouldn't be. And then this dude came up to me from a management company at this open mic, and it was like this illustration of what LA is. It's like,
Yeah, okay.
even at this stupid open mic, at any moment there could be somebody who I need.
My first TV credit ever doing this Showtime thing. But anyway, Darren Carter, you guys know Darren Carter, the party starter. He called me and said, "Yo, can you come to this show with me?" And it was like deep in the Mexican hood. It was like somebody had gotten shot there a month before. It was like the worst place. But he wanted me to ride with him so he can go in the carpool lane. You know what I mean? So I went and I got on the show, and Alex Ramundo, who was one of the Latin kings of comedy, he was on that show, and he was about to film something for Showtime. So I go, and he happened to be going after me, so that everything came into place. But needless to say, he was like, "Yo, you should come do this thing." And then I got this TV credit from being at some like shitty show, like we're right now. This is what I'm trying to point out to all you motherfuckers. You're actually at the world famous Comedy Store. Like, you're literally at a place where dreams have been made. And if you're going to come up at any time and be on stage, just think about that. Try to do your best, regardless if it's an open mic or whatever it is.
That's funny.
You
Yeah,
know?
you could have been at home being too good for going to that show.
Exactly.
Nothing
Right.
happening.
I could have been, and then that led to other things. So I'm saying you never know.
It's true. You got to bring it.
All
Coming-
right. All right.
Jonathan Tumblin's on Twitter at JSherlockT. J Sherlock. So for you listeners out there, you could tweet at Jonathan. What were we just talking about?
I don't know.
Oh, about doing your best on stage and
Oh,
knowing
yeah.
that there are people, there are eyes everywhere.
Oh, totally. And yeah, absolutely. Never-
Also, one other thing, too. There's a really big manager, Rick Messina. You guys know who Rick Messina is? Well, you wouldn't know. But he manages Tim Allen, and he used to manage Drew Carey. Those are only two clients he had for like 25 years. Major clients. But anyway, I was showcasing for him one time, and he said something very interesting to me. He said, I didn't want to, because I was at the Laugh Factory, and it was a packed crowd. And he said to me, I want to see you at a bad show. He was like, I want to see how you deal with that environment, like 10 people, and maybe it's not going well, because that shows my real personality. So, like, again, no matter where you are, try to be you as much as you can, because that also shows something to casting directors or somebody in a crowd, because you all have big aspirations, so you're just not putting in the proper work.
Yeah, I saw a comic run out of a show because he did not like the audience. He didn't like the situation so much. He just, it's like, I'm done, and he just walked right out the front door. If there was anybody that was there they would have been like, what the fuck just happened?
You never know.
He just watched somebody quit.
Yeah.
Something that he
All right, let's get
signed
another
up
name.
for.
Another name.
This is fun. Yeah?
John Mitchell.
I think it's fun.
Wait, does that mean you're not having fun? What was that supposed to mean? Was that sarcastic? This is
No,
fun?
I just like, why was he asking me that?
No, I mean, it was fun.
You know what that means.
John Mitchell, you just got blacklisted.
Another person?
There
That
it
kind of
is.
sucks.
What's it going to be?
People don't like the racist night here at the.
Don't do it, dude.
Blacklisted.
Oh, wow.
No.
Oh,
You
gee.
dialed it way back.
Yeah. He went
I wanted Ho Faggot.
Yeah,
That's what I wanted.
Fuck
For some
off.
reason, I bet you he was thinking about it, weren't you?
Yeah.
Just for the hell of it.
That is correct.
That's good. What?
Just some. Oh, this guy. You know what? I just hung out with him over the weekend. Very funny one-liner type of comic. His own very cool style. Put your hands together for my pal Gabriel Killian, everybody.
Gabriel. Killing it with Killian.
Have you noticed how just about every time you're finally ready to kill yourself, you get hooked on a new TV show? Fucking Game of Thrones, man. HBO has already saved my life 6 times. I want to meet a McDonald's employee who does it for the pussy. Whenever I see a girl driving a really small car, I think compensating for a big vagina. Currently, the #1 most viewed genre of porn on the internet is Japanese anime porn. I don't get it, man. I mean, it's nowhere near as good as Puerto Rican anime porn. All right, thanks.
Well, let me go first. Because I already like you.
All new jokes.
No, you'd never say that. Let me just say that.
Yeah, he just lost me with that arrogance.
That's my biggest pet peeve is when somebody's not doing as well as they want and they go, I've tried to try the new shit tonight. I was like, all right, dude, we get it. You bombed. But I already like you because I've seen you before. I think you're really funny.
Thanks, man.
I think your energy. You know what you have that is very, and I could tell these were new jokes because I heard your other stuff, and I like the McDonald's joke a lot. But what you have that's very rare, and I don't know that I have it. I don't know that any of us. I don't know. You are funny. You are funny. Even beyond your joke, your energy on stage is ridiculous to me. Like you're so, like in a good way. Like
Thanks, man.
that's a very rare quality. Like Felipe Esparza has it. Zach Galifianakis has it. Like there's certain people who just like they make me laugh just with their affect, and that's a big thing. That's very difficult. It's not even a thing you can cultivate. It's like I think you're funny. I like your jokes. I mean, I don't even know how to really categorize you. You're like I don't know. I don't know. You're like, Hedberg, but who works at a car wash in Glendale or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, but anyway, I think you're funny.
Thank you.
Some of the jokes were weaker than others, but I've seen you do well before. So yeah.
All right.
Go ahead. What do you got?
Oh, I mean, I liked it.
Yeah.
I just, if I had to give any tip, it would just be, like get it there and like own it initially. Like you kind of soft at first, and then you kind of like revved up. I know it's only a minute, but it's like. But I like that you just came out there and it was like instantly like, this is who I am. I wish he hadn't have said one-liner and all that shit.
Right.
Because I was like prepared for that. So I wish he hadn't have said that and you would have just done that. It would have even had a bigger impact for me. But I like it. I think you should continue what you're doing.
On that,
what I mean?
I think that's a great point. Like there are a few comics in comedy that have your kind of energy, which is fucking zero. Like no energy.
Yeah.
Stephen Wright, Morgan Murphy, Todd Barry, all three of those people know how to fucking dial in immediately within that like super soft, almost barely there energy and kill because they completely own it. And it's difficult. Sometimes that could be like sand sort of slipping through your fingers. Like, how do I be at a zero flat affect and still throttle a crowd? So I think that's.
And the other thing about that is you also got to know that, like, why are people laughing? Like, why? Like, some might say, well, it's the jokes. And it's like, in this case, it's like 50-50.
Right.
Like, you have to know that like part of why people are laughing is your whole essence, your whole persona. And then the things you say are just really accenting that. It's just like a cherry for it. So you always got to remember and be aware of that. Like and then however, if you're always did you always do that too? Do you not take the mic out of the mic stand? Is that something you always do?
I take it off sometimes, but just a minute. So.
No, I'm just curious because that's like I like that, as if like, you're not really doing stand-up comedy, So when people keep the mic and you're just had your hand in your pocket and you're just kind of like speaking out about stuff, it's like a strong personality.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be like, like that's still this equivalent. So, know that that's part of why people are laughing at you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember the first person I really saw when I first got a job here leave the mic in the mic stand was Al Madrigal, and I hadn't really seen it live that much, and he was blowing my mind in it because there's something about if you can leave it in the stand and kill the whole time.
Yeah. Caparillo does that.
Jay London.
And there's also a thing where you get a big laugh, and your first big laugh, that's when you grab the mic out of the mic stand.
Yeah.
It makes you look like a god. You know what I mean? It's just like, I knew this was going to happen. Let's
Hello,
continue.
everybody.
Just getting to work. Gabe, thank you so much.
Thanks,
Great
guys.
job. Gabriel Killian. It's on Twitter, @Gabriel Killian. So fun. What are you doing?
I'm just saying what I liked about him right now. He really had like an attitude, like
Yeah,
I'm
like-
beyond these motherfuckers,
He said he got
he looked over at us like he should be sitting here with us, And I like that, as long as you back it up with like follow through, There's nothing wrong with a little hubris, right? No one's been great in anything without having an ego.
You're damn right. That's why I like
No, you don't think so?
I don't.
All right.
Mitch Hedberg, I feel like
Mitch Hedberg didn't have an ego? I guarantee Mitch Hedberg had an
Oh,
ego.
fuck yeah.
Anybody that wants to be on
Are you
stage.
kidding me?
Any human being that thinks it's a good idea to be on stage for an hour every night, having a group of people listen to their thoughts has an ego. They don't. That doesn't mean they don't
Yeah.
have bad self-esteem or they're not humble also,
Yeah.
but they think they're the shit.
You-
They think what they have to say is worth listening to for an hour.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, sports is a good analogy on life. Like, how I think, those athletes, like Michael Jordan, he was probably the greatest ever. He was probably the most horrible human being to be around. You just hear what people say because he was just like driven. His Hall of Fame speech, he was like calling people out. I'm better than you. I was better than you. He had to be like that. That's why he was great.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't think you need to think like that, then it's the reason why most people don't make it.
Right.
Like there's no people that make it in this business. It doesn't mean they're a good person. I mean, it doesn't all lend itself to that. No, there's a little bit of like you're horrible sometimes.
Some people are great people.
Not all of them,
Not all of them, for
But
sure.
I'm just saying we're damaged goods doing this kind
I
of
see
thing
what you're
anyway.
saying. I definitely think you have to believe that you can be one of the top comics in the
Yeah.
world to even come close to it. If you're shooting to be in the,
quick story.
in number 200, then you're probably not even going to come close.
I stopped doing comedy for a long because I went to a class when I was like 22, and my mom My mom was so excited for me to do this that she went to a management class, and this big manager came to talk. And my mom convinced this guy to have a meeting with me. I've been doing comedy not even at all, okay, just like in a class doing some open mics or something. That was it. And I remember the guy, he said to me, what do you see yourself doing? And I said, well, you know, I want to be a working comic. And he goes, okay, how do I make money off that? He was like, dream big. You should have came in here and said, I want to be a millionaire, and I'll tone you down. And I always remembered that because it was like, yeah, I had small time dreams. You know, I was sitting in a room like this, like with my notepad. I didn't think big. I want to be a movie star. I want to be a television star. I want to travel the world. I want to, you know, think like that. Dream big. And then if you don't achieve it, the process of trying to achieve that, you're gonna accomplish great things. I think the problem in LA for me is that people are so like haters. You know, they're haters, right? But people are so worried about the minimal success of the person next to you. Like I would get like a 12 o'clock spot in the OR, and I would see the list and go, "The fuck is this?" And there was always some bullshit comic standing next to me going, "Well, at least you have a spot." So you're telling me that this 12 o'clock spot in the OR that's your aspirations? If that's your aspirations, get the fuck out of my face in this business.
Boom. Powerful Erik Griffin, everybody.
Wait, I want a message.
Yeah.
All right. Well, segregation. Listen, there's. No, I'm kidding. No, I call back. Oh, I should have said call back. God damn it. No, I agree, but you know, I also think that one of the best quotes I ever heard in comedy was, "You're not in competition with anybody but yourself."
Right, exactly.
And
that's exactly what I mean. Like, don't worry about what someone else is doing. You know, it's hard to even talk about it with people. Like, I'm on this show. If you watch Workaholics, you know, so people see that and they go, "Oh my God, you're on Workaholics. That must be great." Listen, I'm 7th on the call sheet, and I'm not in every episode, so I strive for more. But I can't talk about that with some people because there'll be people going, "Well, God, you're on a show. Your life must be great." It's like, ugh, get the fuck out of my face, you know?
Right.
You have simple dreams. Don't have simple dreams.
Yeah, these are simple-ass people with simple-ass dreams, like getting on the #1 show on Comedy Central in a regular world. Stupid simpletons.
Here we go.
No, it's a great thing. You should be.
I'm not saying it's not a great thing.
I know,
I
but
appreciate it all the time. But what I'm saying is, if I talk about wanting more, I get that.
I'm not hating on you. I'm not that. I'm saying also it's important to always be grateful for what you've gotten. If I
it's just like sports.
You two are out of control.
Wait, it's just like sports. No, wait, it's just like sports.
Wait, it's just
if you win the first game, you go, "I won the game. Now move on to the next week."
Right. It's just like sports because I got the ball right now. It's my turn.
Well, I stole it from you because you're not a strong offensive player.
We absolutely have got to move on to our final portion of the show. We're running out of time. All right, we have two regulars that go on at the end of every episode since the beginning of the show. These two.
I'll tell you a little story about when I first started.
These two comedians go up every single night. They're gonna be doing extra fast. We're gonna only get to speak with them literally for about a minute tonight.
Okay.
But at least we learned
Will you
all
stop
about
talking?
how
Bring 'em on.
chasing your dreams. Listen, now available, the Erik Griffin Chase Your Dreams calendar.
You're taking away from their time.
Put your hands together she dropped out of the University of Florida because she started comedy right here on Kiltony, and she's been doing a new minute every week since. Put your hands together for Kimberly Congdon.
New minute.
Hey, that was great, Brian. Thanks. Guys, this girl started following me on Instagram, okay? She started liking some of my pictures, and I was like, that's fine. She liked like 13 in a row, and I was like, let me check this bitch out. So I started following her. She sent me a DM, 2 pictures of her pussy. Thank you. Thanks so much. Which was like, fine, that's fine. I'm not gay, but I guess I'll like keep them. And then she sent me a video, and I thought it was going to be something cool, but she was just fucking her dog. This is a true story. She was fucking her Rottweiler. I don't know if it makes a difference that it's a Rottweiler, but that's like manlier. She is, and they're like best friends. I started looking at their pictures, and they're very close, and they hook up all the time, I guess. That's what she said to me. And I was mad at first, and then I tried to look at it from the dog's point of view. Like okay.
What'd she do?
Oh no, I won't be able to sleep tonight.
She just got trolled. That's all that happened.
She walks him. She picks up his shit. She blows him. I want to call the Humane Society, but I don't want to break his heart.
Do you think it's a real person, really, or just because, I mean, you have
No,
this...
It's so fucking real.
How do you know?
Because I investigate. I got so obsessed with it.
Didn't I ask you the other day, and you said they only had like 3 posts?
No, that was my Tinder date.
Boom.
Everybody.
Well, that's out there now.
Hey, why would you Tinder
could-
date have 3 posts?
You could follow
I
her
almost
on.
went on a fake one.
You could follow her on Tinder.
Well, this one, okay, are we doing commentary?
Yeah.
I mean, I would say the same thing. It's like our discussion about saying faggot or saying the N-word on stage. There are certain topics that have so much like gut punch to them that they better be the best thing you've ever written.
Right.
And so to tell a story about a woman fucking a Rottweiler, like I want you to swing for the fences on some level. I know you just wrote it this week, but I'm still stuck on what the fuck are you talking about the whole time? Not even, and that's nothing offensive towards your writing. It's just like I'm still thinking about the woman fucking the Rottweiler.
And I'll say, I like that you're like you got an attitude, you know, and I like also that you came and dressed like a girl, like you came like.
Thanks.
You know, because this is hard for female comics. You know, they all think they have to dress down and like look like a tomboy or something like that. If you keep a strong persona and like do it and still try to be attractive, I think you'll be one of the few that will be able to pull it off. So stick with it. You know what I mean?
I'll take that.
What you think?
I mean, I don't want to argue with you anymore.
Oh, shut up.
Kim, great
Call
job.
me a
Kimberly
bully.
Congdon, everybody. She's on Twitter at Kimberly
private, Erik.
Congdon. We'd spend more time with her, but we are running out of time, so I'm just going to bring up your final regular. Always fun, always goofy. Put your hands together for her. You know her from Kill Tony and Dysentery. It's Sarah Wineshank, everybody.
Really?
What's up? Been realizing that my dad is a weird guy. Like, he's just a weird guy. He has no interests. His only interests are law and music. And that's it. He works all day, comes home, and watches Palladia for hours. It's affecting everything. He gives me the weirdest advice. I called him today, and I was like, Dad, I need some advice. And he said this, baby, it's a wild world. It's hard to get by just on a smile. I was like, Dad, are you quoting Cat Stevens to me and pawning that off as your own advice? He said, yeah, how'd you know? Like, 'cause it's not the first time, Dad. He always quotes music, like classic music songs, like classic rock songs. Like when I got dumped, he was like, think about it like this. Would he turn his back on his best friend if he put you down? Would he sleep out in the rain for you? I was like, Dad, are you quoting When a Man Loves a Woman? And he's like, yeah, how'd you know? It's all the time.
All right. I think you could start that where you're 30 seconds in and you go, all you need is my dad gives me advice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't know if I needed.
You could be right
how
into
long it
Cat
was gonna
Stevens
be.
and maybe even a more popular reference for the second one or something.
Yeah, and I got 2 things. So the first is I wanted a second punchline on the second example. So I didn't want the same thing. Yeah, my dad says it all the time again. Now I
Right.
wanted
'Cause it's
why?
expected.
Because I don't know what the joke is, but yeah, why? Well, because I used to be in the Isley Brothers, or you know what I mean, or
Right.
whatever. Or,
Yeah, like a cover band.
All
or
the
something.
time, maybe you get advice, like, what do I do about this, Dad? Let me tell you a story about a city boy, born and raised in
Yeah.
South Detroit. Like blatantly
Yeah,
popular,
and
famous
yeah.
songs.
Well, I was
Oh, what
gonna-
do you do, Dad? Take the midnight train, it goes on, or whatever it is.
Yeah. Look, I was gonna say it turns into like musical theater advice or something, like practice. Like I feel like I'm in like a musical theater. Or
Definitely
something.
cut off what
It's a
he
funny
said
premise.
because it sounded like an inner monologue from the Wonder Years or something. How you presented it with the very long beginning.
Okay.
But what you were saying, that'd be funny if it was like an incredibly vulgar hip hop song,
Right.
like 2 Live Crew, like Pop That Pussy or
Yeah,
something like that.
or like
and you're like,
Drake.
Dad,
Yeah.
are you quoting 2 Live Crew? And he's like, no, I'm genuinely telling you to pop your pussy. I love you, my daughter, or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you so much, Sarah. We're out of time. That's Sarah Wineshank. Follow her on Twitter at Princess Shank, at Kimberly Congdon. Do you guys have anything coming out you want to promote? At Erik Griffin, at Moshe Kasher.
That's good.
Yeah, at Moshe Kasher, Erik Griffin, MosheKasher.com.
With a K, E-R-I-K, Griffin.
Yeah, also with a K, K-A-S-H-E-R.
Thank you guys so much. So fun. So glad to have you. Kenney Lyon did a great job as our Guatemalan Patriot.
We'll be arguing in the hallway if you want to continue to watch us.
We'll be hugging in the hallway.
Follow Kenney on Twitter at Kenneth
It's
Lyon.
like we are the world of comedy.
One of our favorites. Come see us in San Diego or one of the many other fun places that we're going soon. Check out our calendars to see where we're going to be near you. Thank you so much, live audience. Have a great night.